I always thought I'd be the one saving lives, not destroying one. That thought crossed my mind the night I watched my husband sleeping, breathing deeply beside me, completely unaware that I knew. I knew everything. It was 2:07 a.m. My fingers were still trembling from the phone screen I had just scrolled through in the bathroom. A message popped up on his locked screen while he was asleep. Last night was perfect. I still taste you. The contact name, just a damn red heart emoji. But curiosity is a scalpel, and I knew how to make clean cuts. So I picked up his phone. I knew his passcode, his mother's birthday. Once in, it didn't take long. Instagram DMI's hotel receipts. Uber rides to an apartment I'd never heard of, and photos. So many photos, and there she was. Haley, who I am. Let me back up a little. My name is Claire Monroe. I'm 35. I've been an ER doctor for 10 years. I've performed chest compressions on strangers, stitched up gunshot wounds at 3 a.m., delivered twins without backup, and had blood on my hands more nights than I can count. I'm calm under pressure, efficient, logical, good at saving people, but no one ever taught me how to save myself. The beginning of the end. Josh and I met in college. He was majoring in economics. I was pre-med. He was smart, charming, had this kind of boyish confidence that made you want to believe everything he said, and I did. For a long time we got married when I was 26, bought a little house outside of Denver, had our Sunday routines, coffee at the same spot, hiking every other week, date nights whenever our schedules aligned. But over time, something shifted. I worked long hours, sometimes 36-hour shifts. He started staying out later, claimed it was client dinners or last-minute meetings. At first I believed him. I wanted to, until the signs became patterns. Late-night showers, unexplained credit card charges, sudden password changes, but I wasn't ready to see it yet. Denial is a powerful drug. Discovery the night one found the message, that was the first slice. But I didn't confront him. Instead, I did what I was trained to do: observe, analyze, and plan. I needed information, so I gathered it. Over the next few weeks I created a burner Instagram account and followed Haley. She had no idea. She posted everything: smoothie bowls, sunrises, and selfies at the gym. And, stupidly, him. Josh's watch, his hand. A blurry photo of the two of them at some rooftop bar, where she wrote, "Found my peace." Funny he was. My war. My plan: I wasn't going to scream, or throw things, or cry in front of him. That's what he expected me to do. But I had something better: time, patience, and a plan. My revenge wouldn't be loud. It would be methodical, psychological. Clean. Step 1. Document everything. Screenshots, photos, emails. I even bugged his car with a tiny recorder I bought online. I had hundreds of hours of proof. Step 2. Financial prep. We had a joint account, but I started transferring funds slowly. Opened a separate account under my maiden name. Moved investments discreetly. Even sold a few valuable items. My old engagement bracelet, ironically, just to build a buffer. Step 3. The therapist. I told him I felt disconnected and wanted to try therapy. He agreed. Of course he did. Guilt makes people agreeable. I picked the therapist carefully. And before our first joint session, I saw her alone. I told her everything. She was on board. The beauty of pretending is that no one suspects a thing. After discovering the affair, I didn't distance myself. I didn't grow cold. I became sweeter. I made breakfast more often, eggs exactly how he liked them. I laughed at his tired jokes. I even surprised him with new lingerie on a random Tuesday night. Josh thought he hit the jackpot. In reality, he was crawling deeper into a trap I'd designed for him with surgical precision. I wasn't just buying time, I was buying control. Playing the long game, I made a fake LinkedIn profile for a woman named Rachel Stone. Haley's future self, if you will, an elegant, successful executive who also happened to be married. Then, using that profile, I messaged Haley anonymously, told her I saw her with a man who wasn't her husband, told her he fits the exact profile of the man who wrecked my friend's life, asked if she knew a guy named Josh Monroe. She never replied, but she deleted all their couple photos from Instagram 2 days later. Josh came home that week, sulky and distracted. Said she was being weird and pulling away. I nodded, sipped my tea, and kissed his forehead. Probably nothing, I whispered. Destabilization. By month 3, Josh had started to unravel. I kept shifting small things: his car keys, his favorite mug, the thermostat setting. I changed the Spotify queue in his car to songs he hated, just enough to make him feel slightly off. I slipped a few appointment cards into his briefcase from a mental health clinic. He never asked about them, but I saw him notice. And then I told our therapist in front of him. that Josh seemed confused lately, like he's not himself. He looked stunned. She nodded in concern. Wrote something down in her little notebook. I smiled. The ex and the opportunity one day. Fate handed me a gift. I ran into Josh's ex-girlfriend Lena at the hospital. She was a pharmaceutical rep now. We caught up, exchanged numbers, and later had coffee. Turns out, Lena had been cheated on by Josh too, in college, with her roommate. I listened, took notes, mentally, and then I told her about Haley, about the emotional torture I was constructing. She laughed so hard she cried, and then she offered help. I have screenshots from back then. She said, "You want ammo? I got it." I did, and I used them. I printed one particular message from 2011. I just don't think Lena needs to know. It's not like it meant anything. I placed that message inside a birthday card, the kind with glitter and hearts, and mailed it anonymously to Haley's studio. The front of the card said, "From one woman to another," letting him think he won. Weeks later, Josh came home beaming, said he and Haley had worked things out, that she realized she was being paranoid. I asked, sweetly, "Did she ever say why she got paranoid?" He shrugged. "She said some bitch tried to stir stuff up. She didn't even open the card." I smiled. Weird world. He kissed me and told me how lucky he was to have someone so grounded, so trusting. I kissed him back, and then I watched him take the trash out, and I thought, it's almost a shame he really doesn't see it coming. Next step, isolation. I started hinting to friends and his colleagues that Josh was under a lot of stress, that I was worried about his mental health. Nothing huge, just small comments at brunch, or in casual texts to his assistant. Soon enough, people started asking him if he was okay. He hated that when people stop trusting your version of reality. You either fight harder to prove yourself, or you start doubting your own mind. He chose the latter, and I made sure every step he took forward crumbled beneath him. There's something deeply satisfying about watching a liar unravel. It doesn't happen all at once. No, it's slow. A misstep here, a confused look there, a moment of hesitation when confidence used to live, and then one day, silence, because they don't even trust their own thoughts anymore. That's where Josh was now. He wasn't eating much. He was constantly checking his phone, rereading texts like they'd changed overnight. He started leaving sticky notes for himself around the house. Call Doug Ree, 3 p.m. meeting. Trash day is Thursday. Keys, front drawer. He thought he was losing it. He was. I was making sure of it. Haley, the detachment. Haley didn't ghost him right away. She just slowly cooled, stopped replying fast, stopped calling, started posting photos alone. No tags, no captions. Eventually she made her account private. Josh asked if I noticed anything weird about what I said. He shrugged. Just feels like everyone's acting different lately. I gave a small smile. Maybe it's you. He looked down, didn't say anything. Good. Therapy. As a weapon. By the 6th session, the therapist had turned from a mirror into a microscope. She asked him, "Do you feel safe in your relationship?" Josh blinked. "What do you mean?" "Well," she said, flipping through her notes. "Last week you mentioned feeling watched, and the week before, you said Claire's moods were unpredictable." He turned to me, confused. "I never said that." I widened my eyes. "What?" "Yes, you did, remember? After the dinner party, I didn't." He started, then stopped, rubbed his temples. "Maybe I'm mixing things up." She leaned in. "It's okay. That's what we're here for." Inside, I was roaring with satisfaction. Outside, I nodded solemnly. "Do you think you might need to see someone separately, Josh?" the therapist asked gently. He didn't answer. The journal. One night, he left his laptop open. I found a Word document titled, "Am I Going Crazy?" He had written about misplaced items, weird dreams, lost time, paranoia and confusion. He wondered if he had a tumor or early onset dementia. He wrote, "Claire is being so supportive, but I feel like I'm rotting from the inside out." I highlighted that line, copied it into a sticky note, and placed it in his briefcase. The next morning, he found it. I watched, his eyes widen, watched his mouth part, like he was about to ask something, then close again. He said nothing, because he didn't trust himself anymore. Isolation complete, he stopped calling his friends. They stopped inviting him out. His boss asked if he needed time off. His sister called me and whispered, "Is Josh okay? He seems really off lately." I said, "He's under pressure, work stuff. You know how he is." They believed me. Why wouldn't they? I was the loving, calm wife. The one who brought snacks to family game night. The one who remembered birthdays and smiled for every photo. Meanwhile, I was dismantling his life piece by piece, like removing bones without breaking the skin. One last trigger. It was time to make the final cut. I made a reservation at the restaurant where we had our first date. I told him I missed us, that I wanted to reset. He dressed nice, nervous. I wore red, not just because it flattered me, but because it reminded me of blood. During dinner, I smiled across the table and asked, "What would you do if someone betrayed you?" He paused. "What kind of betrayal? Cheating? Lying? Destroying your life slowly?" He laughed awkwardly. "Sounds dramatic." I leaned in. "Humor me." He hesitated, then said, "I guess I'd want to know the truth, even if it hurt." I nodded. "Good," I said. "You're about to." He looked nervous across the table. He could feel it. Something was coming, but he had no idea how big the wave was. I took a long sip of wine, then reached into my purse and slid a manila envelope across the table. He didn't touch it right away. "What's this?" he asked. "Go ahead," I said. "It's yours." He opened it. Inside, printed screenshots, photos of him and Haley at the hotel, the message history, a copy of the hotel receipt, and the birthday card I'd sent Haley, the one he thought she'd never opened. He read it all in silence. Then he looked up at me, eyes wide, mouth dry. "How long have you known?" I smiled. "Long enough." Total transparency, he tried to explain, tried to minimize, said it just happened, that it didn't mean anything. So I leaned forward and said, "Then, it won't mean anything when I do what I'm about to do." I told him about the bank accounts, the therapist, the planted seeds at his office, the notes, the journal quote I copied and left for him on purpose, and then the final blow I made. A copy of everything, and I sent it to your boss, to your sister, and to Haley. He looked like he'd been shot in the chest. "You're lying." "No," I said gently. "You were." The collapse. He didn't finish dinner. He didn't speak. He stood up, stumbled, out of the restaurant, and left me with the check. I took my time, dessert and everything. When I got home, his car was in the driveway, but the lights were off. I walked in, calm as ever. He was sitting on the couch, staring at nothing, holding the envelope in his lap, like it had physically hurt him. I sat across from him. "You were never going to leave her, were you?" He shook his head, tears in his eyes. "I didn't know what I wanted." I nodded. "That's okay. I knew what I wanted." The fallout the next day, it all started unraveling for real. His company put him on leave. Something about professional conduct. His sister called me sobbing, said she couldn't believe he'd do this to me, Haley. She sent me a message. Just one sentence. "Thank you for telling me the truth. I hope you burn him to the ground," I replied. "Already done." The divorce we filed 2 weeks later. He tried to fight for more. I had the prenup, the evidence, the receipts, the emotional distress letters from my therapist. He walked away with next to nothing. The house, mine. The car, mine. The reputation, destroyed. He moved into some small apartment outside the city. Tried to reach out a few times, called, texted. I never replied, except once. He messaged, "Why are you doing this?" I answered, "Because you thought I wouldn't." Closure sort of people always ask, if revenge makes you feel better. Here's my answer. It doesn't fix the pain. It doesn't rewind the past. But it gives it shape. It gives you control again. And that's everything. He took away my peace. I took away his entire world. That feels fair to me. Asterisk, it's been 6 months. The house is quiet now. No tense dinners, no lies hanging in the air like smoke. No checking his phone when he showers. No pretending I don't know what I know. Just silence and peace. It's funny, peace doesn't feel how I imagined. It's not fireworks or freedom songs. It's not some victory parade in my head. It's smaller, quieter, like the moment after a storm, when everything's still wet, but the sky's finally clear. People talk, they say, I seem stronger now, that I'm glowing, that I'm so brave for leaving him. I don't correct them. Let them think it was just a clean break. A woman reclaiming her worth and walking away with grace. The truth, I didn't walk. I burned the bridge as I crossed it, and smiled while the flames kissed my back. No regrets, Stu. I regret what I did. Not once. People like Josh think their betrayal is a moment, a slip, an accident. But what they never understand is, for the person on the other side, it's a slow death. You lose sleep. You lose appetite. You lose your sense of reality. I didn't want revenge to hurt him the way he hurt me. That would have been too easy. I wanted it to last. What happened to him? He moved away, got a job at some boring firm. No real friends left, no relationship. He's a ghost of himself, and me. I'm not the same woman I was. I don't flinch when I hear his name. I don't stalk his socials. I don't wonder what would have happened if I'd just ignored the signs. Because now, I know what happens when you ignore the signs. You become a prisoner in your own home. Your own mind, your own marriage, never again. The last line sometimes, I see other women smiling at brunch, checking their boyfriend's phone screen out of the corner of their eye, brushing off little lies with a laugh, and I want to grab their hands and say, you're not crazy. You're not overreacting. You already know the truth. Trust that version of you. Because I didn't just survive betrayal. I dissected it, documented it, and buried it in a grave I dug with a smile. This wasn't just revenge, it was surgery, and I never missed my mark.